Hello, and welcome to another episode of Pivotal Moments with 𝐏𝐢𝐯𝐸. As always, I always say I'm excited, and I really truly am excited. But today I am definitely excited because I have the chief fun agent herself on joining the conversation. Jasmine Bull of Unbullievable Events is here to share her pivotal moments, and I could not be more excited because this woman just brings so much joy and excitement, and I'm just so excited to know her. So without me continuing to babble on, everyone welcome Jasmine to Pivotal Moments.
Thank you all. And thank you, Lita, for the invite. I am excited, as always, to be a part of anything you're doing, but I have been wanting to be a part of your Pivotal Moments for a long time. And so I'm just so thrilled that I got the opportunity to actually do it. I don't know how much I got to say, but I just wanted to be a part of anything Lita's doing. So it's always a fun, exciting time to spend with her. So yeah, I'm so excited. And I'm more excited about this than I probably am about most of my events.
Oh, well, thank you. So tell us a little bit about you and Unbullievable Events.
Yeah. Oh man. Talk about yourself, right? So I own and the CEO and creative visionary for Unbullievable Events, and it is a multifaceted empire, event planning empire with 4 sustainable pillars, anywhere from consulting to planning, virtual events, to social events within the Prince William County area, where we work really hard to build social events and create things that are experiences other than events, which is what we like to call them, experiences. And we also do programs where we teach people that are new in this industry, what to do, how to do it, or we even do a little bit of dabbing into helping coaches get their ideal event for virtual event for themselves, because there's a lot of strategies out here and you got to know what to use. And so super important. Everything we do in our brand is all with a faith-based method. And it's always with vibrant and excitement and so much fun. And we pride ourselves on giving that to you from the first interaction with us to the last and beyond that. And so I just love everybody who comes my way, because I love making people's dreams a reality. And our team really vibes and thrives off of people's vision and using their vision to guide us to their true experience. So it's super exciting. So that's Unbullievable Events in a nutshell.
I love it. And to those of you who are watching, if you don't do anything else, if you are having an event, I'm seriously here, if you don't do anything else, hire Jasmine for a strategy session. Boom. Seriously, because I've been doing events for a long time and workshops for my business, but there was nothing like being able to have a strategy session. And especially for us, those of us who are very creative, and sometimes our thoughts can go all over the place and we have all these big dreams and ideas. Jasmine that's my favorite thing that you offer. I love all of them, but I think the strategy session, it would be my favorite, because it really just helps you get your event where you need it to be. Yeah.
I love it. That's actually one of my favorite parts of my whole. I think that's one of the biggest parts of my whole thing, and that's one of my favorite things to do, is because I just love talking events. And so if I get to talk events to you,
yeah,
and we just strategize what it looks like to be in your event, I mean, hey, I'm in a happy place.
I love it. All right, well, let's get to the whole point of our conversation here, and that is pivotal moments. So, Jasmine of Unbullievable Events, what pivotal moment will you be sharing with us today?
It's basically, I think I had a couple pivotal moments to choose from, but I think I wanted to kind of go with the one where I kind of started my empire, and the journey to getting that, because the thing with pivotal moments, there's many pivotal moments that actually make a pivotal moment, if that makes any sense. And a lot of people don't realize that. And so in my journey to start my empire, it had been a journey for a minute. I think it started when I was 18. And like I've told you many a times before, and I don't know if people at home, I planned my 10th birthday party. So I've been events have been ingrained in me for a minute. Okay, it's not new. But when I was 18, I was like, I really want to start this business. And it would be like little pieces, right? It would start out with, I was taking a course, right? I started taking a course in event planning, or I would think of a name for my site. And then I took a website class to try to design my site, but that never went anywhere, right? Or I did a friend's wedding, or I did a friend's birthday party, but then it really didn't go anywhere. And then and then I would watch other people's stuff and try to figure out how to do a web page for myself, and create all of these different things, right? All of these little moments. And in all honesty, it was 5 different, I believe it was 5 different moments in my life that led up to the big moment, right? Or 6 different moments and then the big moment. So when I was let go from a job, which was I worked as an event director for a country club, and they let me go. And when they let me go, before that, I had just finished creating my Instagram page. I had just got from doing a wedding wire event and actually being bold about it. And then I had signed up to be on a 𝐏𝐢𝐯𝐶 experience. So I've gone and been mentored by 𝐏𝐢𝐯𝐶 himself. And it just all seemed to culminate to this one moment, right? To this one thing that we all look at. And then when they let me go, it was a blessing in disguise, because that was the moment, God kind of was like, hey, this is the time for you to make this happen. So I was like, fine, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, and this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do it. I can't back out of it. I can't change my mind on it. And it was so divinely happening, because if I was still working at the country club, the trip that I had to take to go get mentored by 𝐏𝐢𝐯𝐶, I would have been utterly my mind would have been not really there. I would have been distracted. I wouldn't have been able to focus. I would have been, worried about the team back home. I'd have been trying to still plan events. But because I had no worries and all I had to think about was my business, my brand and my empire, and just truly soaking in all the information I could possibly soak in, it was a moment that I stood in the middle of a church that we had. And I honestly, and I'm surprised I'm actually telling the story, but because this moment is the moment that it all changed, is in the middle of this church. This whole experience was culminating, right? It was an experience where from the moment I landed to the moment I got to the hotel to meeting all the people, everything just seemed so surreal. Like I was like, am I really here? Is this really happening? Is that really David? Is that really Joey? Is that really, like, everything just didn't seem real. And it was the second day, and we were at this open church, and I was in the middle of this church. And the church had such a spiritual thing. And I remember distinctly, because I'd been taking pictures, but I was about to take a picture as I was walking through the door to get into this open church. And I stopped, and I didn't want to take any more pictures, because I realized right then that this was a moment that I didn't need to share. It wasn't for someone else to experience, right? And that's a pivotal moment. When you have, no one else should know about that. That should be the moment that everything kind of culminates together. But I stood in the middle of the altar, where they would consider the altar to be, because you have to remember, this is an open church. It was something that was during wartime, and all that was left of this church was the walls. That's it. There's no ceilings, there's no chairs, literally the walls of this church. So I stand in the middle where the altar would be, and I just remember standing there, and I remember hearing the breeze. I remember feeling the grass. I remember smelling the flowers that they put up, and I just remember how peaceful that moment was, and how much I realized right then and there I was in my purpose, and I was exactly where I was meant to be, how I was meant to be there, and I was doing exactly what God intended for me to do, right? And so for me, that was the starting my empire. I had already started it, like I'd already got the paperwork and all this stuff, but that right there really was the culmination of starting the empire that I work on now, because the purpose behind that moment of realizing that I am legit following in the steps that I need to. And it was just so clear. It was just a peaceful, and I just remember turning around and seeing Joey, who's David's husband, embrace me. And it was the most beautiful embrace I've ever had. And it was so warm and inviting. his husband, David Tutera, was there, and he waited. That's the thing. He waited for my moment to happen. Like, they had to move on with the event. Like, there was a whole schedule, and I was holding them up, and he waited for me to stop and turn around, because that was a moment in time that I can't get back. I can never take that moment back. And that was just the best moment I've ever experienced in my entire life. And that was truly a beautiful time for me.
Wow. Oh my goodness. You know, first of all, you succeeded in giving me goosies. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Okay.
A little bit of goosies, just a little bit.
You know? But so many things just flooded my mind and my heart with what you shared. But I think the biggest thing for me is a lesson really for all of us. And that's taking the moment and the pause and accepting the moment, the space that's within that pause. Because like you said, if you had gotten caught up in taking the pictures and all that, maybe you would have missed the moment. But you had the emotional intellect to recognize that this is a moment that I need to pause and receive and look at what came out of that.
And it was so good, girl. It was like, I mean, there were so many other things that culminated that moment and triggered, not just like, but to lead up to me going there, right? To lead up to me standing in the middle of that altar, like even walking in and meeting Linda. Like Linda, I call my spiritual mama, and she's the one that told me to go stand there. She's like, go stand in the middle of the altar. She was like, you need to take a breath. It was just so, I was just bawling when I walked in. I was just so much. And so, you know, it was just, the moments are so real. And I pride myself on telling people to do that. And that's why I pride this brand and this empire that I work on, that it is not an event, it's an experience. And if we can't give someone an experience, then we're not doing our job.
Yeah. Wow. So as we continue down the line here of the conversation, you know, we always talk about what is the unchangeable things. When we talk about a pivot, it's that thing that everything moves around that. So what did you discover in this pivotal moment is your unchangeable thing that everything else must center around? Some people call it your why, but what did you discover was your thing from this?
Oh, man. I think it was the defining moment of purpose. You know, the why is always something that you have. And honestly, a couple weeks ago, I finally said my why out loud. I always know what my why is, but to say it out loud and then have somebody say it back to you, I got so emotional. But but I think the pivotal moment that's unchangeable is recognizing the purpose, not the why, not the how, not the what, the purpose, like your distinct purpose for being on this planet. Like, why were you purposely put here, right? Not why you're doing it. Why I'm doing what I'm doing is a bigger, source. How I'm doing what I'm doing is a bigger source. All of what I'm doing is a bigger source, but the purpose is unchangeable. Like, purposefully, I was placed here to give people joy and bring experiences and memories, and to help them realize their shine, to bring their light out within their event, and to find that peaceful moment that they don't have by doing it themselves, right? Yeah, that's the real, you have to get to that. Like, if you can get to that gut-wrenching moment where honestly it changes the way you do all things that you do, then no one can touch you. There's nothing anyone can do. People can try to be you, people can try to be your brand, people can take your ideas, people can, and I find it flattering, but at the end of the day, if you know your purpose, not one soul on this planet, no matter how many ideas you have floating out there and they steal, they take, they do it, will ever change that. And everything you do will be touched by the God-given purpose you were designed to have. So that's what I believe.
She liked doing these mic drop moments, I tell you, boy.
Woo. A little bit, just a little bit.
Just give them a little something.
A little bit.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so switching gears. You know, if you've watched the show, you know that we always switch gears and talk about adjustments, because our, pivotal moments, like you said, we could be passionate and it's about our purpose and all that. Adjustments actually can be defined a little differently, right? They're usually defined as having to adapt to something that's uncomfortable. So tell us about when you've had to make the adjustment rather than the pivot.
Man, I think just being a CEO, you're constantly making adjustments, right? Your mindset is an adjustment, right? Like, planning an event is an adjustment. I am constantly making adjustments. I mean, all the time. It's not a pivot. It is an adjustment, because no event, and I don't know how many times I have to say this to people, no one is perfect, therefore no event is perfect, therefore nothing you do will be perfect. So stop trying to be perfect. Like, it won't work. Like, so stop focusing on that. And so for me, the adjustments are when we're hosting events and something does go wrong, like, how can we quickly adjust to still give people that experience without them even knowing that it's something went wrong, right?
Yeah.
Like, because and then on top of that, then also, how are you supposed to adjust in your empire when things are shifting, right? When you add on a team member, that's an adjustment. That's not a pivot. That's an adjustment, because you have to be a leader now. You have to step into a leadership role. You have to deliver certain things. They have to deliver certain things to you. You have to figure out your personalities, what works, what doesn't work. Those are adjustments. And tell me, if I gotta tell you something and I gotta tell myself something, because I just hired some team members myself, it is an adjustment. And as much as I've led teams and I've led people and I've led groups over and over and over again, when it's your own and you have to lead, it's a whole different mindset. It's a whole different perspective. And it truly is an adjustment. And I think, to me, getting a team member, who I was so excited about getting, and I'm still excited about having, and the 2 team members I have, well, I have more than 2 now, but when I first got my 2 team members, I was so excited. Like, I was more excited, and I kind of lost the sauce. I was like, oh my God. I had to remember that I needed to adjust, because I had to adjust to them, like what they needed from me to do work, to get work done. It's an adjustment. Like, you've been doing it by yourself for so long that by the time you get someone on, you're like, wait, what, you're gonna do that for me? I don't need to do that? Oh, okay, that's cool, I guess. So I think that would be my adjustable moment, in events in general, just adjusting to those things that happen. Like, things are gonna happen, guys.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. You just have to prepare to know what you're gonna do in lieu of them.
Yeah.
So,
and that's such a good point. Whether or not it's about event planning or running a business, recognizing that things are going to happen and accepting it, just in life, just that in itself is huge. It's a huge lesson, and definitely an adjustment. I find that many of us, especially in the entrepreneurial space, are very much perfectionists, very much like to hold all control. And when you live your life that way, like you said, giving up just a little bit. Well, with my event, it was like, wait a minute, so you actually are gonna do that? Like, I don't know what to do. I always say I think I was your worst client, because I knew, I was like, I've got to sit on my hands. Like, this is so foreign to me.
So yeah, but you were, and that's what's so funny, is I think most of my clients think that way too. And I'm like, no, like, I've been really blessed. And I think I've said this to you before. I've just been really blessed with some great clients, with some amazing people that I've had the privilege of helping them have that experience, right? Like, it's not a job for me. It's like, it's what I do. And I love being able to, at the end of the day, go, you okay? Everything good? that was great. I'll never forget it. That's all I need to hear. Once I hear I never forget it, I'm like, okay, we're good. We're straight. Like, that works. So it's, and knowing that is very important to me too. And I think having those clients, but you as a person, and I think people and us as entrepreneurs too, a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with this, is how do I align myself with people? But I've very good rules about aligning myself. If I can't align with you as a client, I can't work with you.
Yeah.
I just can't. Isn't it? You'll get mad, I get mad, we get all bad, and then I got a bad review, and then you act like I did something to you, but I didn't do anything to you. And so it's just like, pay attention, like, and then be receptive of clients that are coming in. And the ones that go away, guess what? The ones that go away weren't meant for you. They weren't meant for you. So let them go. Let them go. Let them go.
I hope y'all are taking notes, because I mean, Jasmine is here. Look, normally at the end is when I say what you have for the audience, but of course, Unbelievable here, Miss Unbelievable is dropping y'all nuggets the whole time.
Love that. Just love that. Just trying to drop
knowledge. It's so true though. I mean, it's just so many things, and especially for my business owners out here watching, everything, Jasmine, that you're saying is just so on point, with just not being overly worried about those who are, don't want to be a part of your team or your clients or work with you or whatever. So what? Goodbye. Let's keep it moving and aligned with those who do, and that way it can be an amazing, unbelievable experience and event. And real quickly, I always, anytime I'm on my platform talking about Jasmine, I always talk about how, speaking of adjustments, when I had my first strategy session with Jasmine, we beautifully created what I was going to do. And then my brain took over, one side of my brain took over, and I completely changed everything. And I went to Jasmine like, I actually want to do it differently. And oh, by the way, I actually now want to have 2 events combined in one. What can you do? And it was beautiful. And people are still talking about just the amazing event, the 2-part series events that we had. I think I'll link that in this video right there. You can click on that.
Yes. Link it. It was a good event. It was a Jasmine event. Not just but it's what's so funny, and I don't know if people realize this is how much I love what I do, because I don't even realize that I'm doing what I'm doing until after. And people are like, well, it was great. I'm like, oh, that's great, until I see something back. Yeah. Lita's event is one of those examples, is one of many of those examples, is where I was so into it, I just knew what she needed, that I didn't recognize it until after. And when I went back and actually watched it, after I did all the work and we still did the event and everything, and I had to go back and physically watch it, and I was like, and I started to tear up, because I was like, oh my gosh, that's so powerful. Yeah. Yeah. So it's and that's how much I give. Like I love what I do on purpose. It's not by accident. So it's, it is what it is.
Yes, good stuff. Okay, well, we are at the end of the conversation. What y'all don't know is Jasmine and I actually could really talk for hours. So we are going to bring this down and get to the point where Jasmine, please share just whatever last thoughts, nuggets, whatever that you want to share with the viewers who are watching now.
Well, there's so many. So let me pull my list up. No, I'm just kidding. I guess the couple big things, and there's 3. I only have 3, guys. Only have 3. Is I want you to remember to have fun, right? But in having fun, there are a ton of different types of events out here. I mean, all types. And if you want to know more, you can check out my page, because I have a whole list of things that you can do. However, there are so many people doing events, right? And you fall in love with someone's type of event. But guess what? You go to do it, it doesn't work. Why? Because it's not meant for you. So I want you to have fun in your events, but I also want you to create your events that are meant for you. Yes, take nuggets from people's events, but use it in a way that blends with what you do, who you are, what your purpose is, what your why is, your vision. for what you're trying to do, because that's what sells. That's what gets people excited. That's what gets people the experience that they deserve. So that is like one of the biggest things I could tell people is align yourself to your events and don't let your event align itself to you. And so it's super important to do that. And then the second thing I said it already, which was nothing's perfect. Perfection is not a thing. So therefore, don't expect all your pieces to be in place. Be prepared, but don't be negative about it, right? You don't want to be like, oh, something's going to go wrong. No, just be prepared that knowing that, okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. I just need to do it, and I need to have fun doing it. When you stop having fun doing it, then don't do it. And then, of course, my last and final thing is dreams can be a reality when you put faith to action to achieve them. And that's my motto. And I live by that. That's ingrained in the brand. And that's how I do everything I do.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, Jasmine, you know how much I love you. And I just love everything that you do and everything you're a part of. You all you see the links on the page. Check her website out. Check her Instagram, because if you want some belly laughing, some of her reels will really have you hysterically laughing. I have found myself like watching them over and over again when I just needed a pick me up. And she's on Clubhouse and all different things. So definitely make sure to follow her, check out all the amazing things she's doing. And like I said, even if it's nothing more than just some of the freebies, I'll say, from her website, if you're planning an event, all of it's just great resources and information. But just even Jasmine as a person and as the positivity that you bring to people, to the community, to women, I just applaud you for what you're doing. And it's been just amazing watching your journey and seeing just how much that you're giving of yourself. So I just have to commend you for that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You're going to make me tear up on camera.
It's all good. Well, thank you. And once again, to you all watching, thank you so much for your support and for tuning in. And we will see you next time on Pivotal Moments with Lolita.
Yay! Bye, guys. Go follow me.